All right. Well, I just hit the record button for whatever that is worth. And I thought we could start out these meetings with any kind of market update that we could get from people that are in different markets. Because one thing I do want to say, I'll say it hopefully if more people jump on, is for the call to be of value to you and for you to want to get something out of it that you can go and use this week coming up with your own clients. So I think I said in a post or two, the idea of being able to come to a place where you can hear what realtors are saying from the different marketplaces on new construction or otherwise, and then report that back to your own clients, or just bringing it up in conversation, I think is valuable. And I'm hoping that we can at least get one of those things out for you guys to take away and use as a door opener or whatever. So to that end, David, you mentioned before that you had somebody, you were kind of knee deep on projects in Hoboken, right? Somebody was about to build. How are they doing on that project? If I have that correct.
Okay, sorry, it wouldn't unmute. No, I think that was the Atlanta guy. Like I'm a certified new home sales, but I've been buy side running around to different projects around here. Everything's selling right now.
It really it is. You seeing any incentives?
Yeah. I mean, Toll popped some new incentives. They were doing that kitchen sale, and then I think Lennar finished theirs. But there's not enough inventory, so that stuff's moving. I mean, the Toll has 2 buildings going, and their stuff's been selling.
Right. Okay. And that's specific, that's in and around Hoboken or
Jersey City.
Jersey City. Right. Okay. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a little touch from New Jersey. I saw June was in on there. I don't know if June had jumped off. I know she was doing some stuff in Maryland. Anybody else from a different state here could shed a little light on what's going on in the market? Okay, well then I have no problem speaking and figuring out something to say to everybody. So the way I see the market, it sounds like the way David is seeing it is that there is not enough product out there. We keep on hearing that. On the other side, I think you're going to see product inventories rising a bit as this hold the rates higher for longer continues. So
connect
what I think we're going to see in the market, and we can kind of bounce this around in months to come, is that great stuff is definitely going to be moving quickly, but anything that's not so great, a lot of the buyers that would have bought that stuff get bumped out of the market with those interest rates. So sure, there's a lot of buyers that are super qualified, but they want something special. And I think maybe David indicated that by saying new construction.
Shows up, but it won't connect.
So new construction, I'm going to just mute here. Okay. So the new construction, if we're going to focus on new construction, it's going to be an opportunity because that's where the inventory is, but the prices are a little bit higher, right? Do you bump into that, out there?
The price points are higher, but it seems everything else is trying to match it. So
so it's even getting easier.
Yeah. I mean, we're maybe like $1,200 a square foot on some of that stuff. And, wow. And it's going, but you got different things like you're saying. Toll Brothers product is expected in a couple of years, and it's looking good. But China Construction is done with one of theirs, and it's got some builder defects. So that one's sitting and having a hard time selling, even though it's the tallest building in New Jersey. And then they built a different one with a different development arm that is selling like hotcakes. They're down to their last 2 or 3 units, kind of thing.
Yeah, and those are condos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's vertical stuff. And that's what you're referring to for the most part?
Yeah. It's well, there's, I mean, the vertical, they're all vertical here. It's all, but I mean, like Shore House is maybe 20 stories, whereas that other one's closer to like 60, 70, maybe.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So the one thing that I was going to, kick off for a conversation on market. So this is specific, but is what bad is what used to be bad news for the commercial multifamily market, is it all of a sudden now good news for real estate? So every time something bad happens, like Bed Bath and Beyond goes bankrupt, you figure, okay, well, part of recessions are when the Fed raises, they're looking for these things to happen. A bankruptcy, layoffs, waves of layoffs and things. So this time around, what do we got? Waves of layoffs and high income jobs. So still, like, I guess that's bad news, but no one's, it's okay news for layoffs. I was seeing them there. And then on the, on the new side, you get that particular bankruptcy. And I did some research on the strip space that they occupied, and the REITs that hold that space where Bye Bye Baby and the Bed Bath and Beyond's footprint is. They're delighted to get the space back because the demand is so high, and they can raise the rents on it, honestly. So those REITs that were holding that stuff, they were modestly affected the day that one of the big players that rent from them goes under, but not by much. So I mean, that's kind of what we're seeing all over. And you're just wondering if it can, if these higher rates can slow things down, or it really almost doesn't see that. Does anyone have buyers that are feeling a pinch like that, or are people kind of rolling with it?
Yes, here in Georgia,
Thank you.
even though the builders are offering incentives, and the reason why they're offering incentives is because of the rates, right? So
Okay.
typically when someone 2 years ago would have been able to afford 400,000, because of the rates, if they're trying to stay within a certain payment, they have to look at something much lower, which causes buyers to not buy. So people are feeling the pinch of the rates.
Mm-hmm. And Samantha, do you work in a sales office at a builder, or?
No, I've just sold quite a few new construction. I'm an
Yeah.
independent agent.
So then, and you probably have quite a bit of it down there in Georgia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you're seeing, so reporting in from Georgia for me, thank you, is they're buying the rates down to get the people in.
They're buying the rates down. They're offering a cash incentives, and you can use it to buy down the rates. You can use it to help with your closing costs. Just trying to make the buyers more comfortable to come in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is working
For some buyers.
Yeah.
I mean, I have buyers that want to sell that purchased maybe like 2 years ago, have a lot of equity, but when they look at what they want to get, even though they have resources to put 20% down, they're looking at a much higher payment. So people have been having, some hesitation.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, then that just kind of describes maybe the market slowing down, but not falling off a cliff. So that is interesting, because the way the rates shot up, one might think that's the case. So again, anytime we have bad news, it seems to be being absorbed into the market. The only other thing that, I mean, we've had the regional banking, that's going to tighten up on the lending, of course, but I'm wondering if we're really going to see that translate. I just asked checked in for a lender, commercial lender, for a 12-unit apartment building and what the rate would be. And it was over 9%, they said. So almost double digit.
Well, and developer loans for small buildings as well are going to feel the pinch, because it's the local lenders are tightening.
Right. So
small buildings are going to slow down.
Right. I mean, I sold the building in DC. I was going to have one of my old colleagues was going to jump on. I wish he had. I wanted to get the feel of the market down there. Maybe they are. There's more participants here than I see. Let me see if I can see who's on here. But anyway, and I sold the thing for $1 million. And it was rented, and literally, I think I sold it at around a 5 or 5.5 cap. And this is by me just calculating back of the napkin. I mean, it's a small building, 2,500 square feet, so it's really for marketing purposes. And it sold for $1 million, $1,050,000, and that was the rate was 5%. I mean, now that it's 9.5, I mean, well, what does he pay me for that building? It's only been a year and a half. I mean, I don't know if you get 800, 750. I mean, that's a big delta there. That just
But the inventory's been low, so it's been absorbing that. I mean, there's people that are looking to move manufacturing back to the US. So the 2,500 square foot warehouse is going to get taken, probably for the $1 million.
Yeah, there you go. So this is, where, in normally rates go up that much, it really hurts income properties, right? Things that have cash attached to them. It's interesting. It's resetting. And if they can continue to do this, we might have a year or so of opportunistic buying and selling out there, but that should settle out. It's incredible how strong the market is. So, and I don't want to say on Atlanta, I mean, down in Georgia is historic, from what I understand. I mean, you get a lot of house down there for your money. And we would always have folks come up to DC from Georgia and from Atlanta. And the one thing I knew is we could never get a sale because it's so different. And people are like, I'd never pay this for that little thing. But so you have a little softness in Georgia, maybe, as you're describing where you are, but it doesn't sound so bad. Sounds kind of healthy. And normally I think, maybe you would feel more down there with this interest rate shock. Builders can buy their way out of a problem. That's really incredible, right? Buying down. I mean, you can only buy down so much. So,
well, even the way they're building is changing in Georgia. I lived up north. I used to live in New York and Connecticut, so I know about homes being much smaller, square footage and tighter space between your neighbor, right? And that is happening a lot, even in the Cobb Cherokee County area, which is like North Atlanta. Forget about in the city, but I see a development going on downtown Kennesaw, and the homes are so close to each other. They might as well be attached, but they're considered single family.
Right.
So before, when maybe 2 years ago, 400,000 or 500,000 would have gotten you, I don't know, 3,500 square foot house. Now it's probably 2,700 or, really tight. So they are, changing the way they're building these homes.
Really? Yeah. That's pretty interesting on that they're changing the way they're building the homes. Are they getting smaller?
Yes, they are getting smaller,
like square foot
less
wise?
land, if you have any land at all. They're doing more of like a mixed use developments. There's a lot of that going on, especially in the city, creating like more walkable neighborhoods, as they call it.
Is that what they're, right. With the town center and so on, right? Yeah. Some, quote town center. Well, that's interesting. So it sounds like they're developing down there. So really, like like David added, it does seem like it's steady as she goes. So has anyone, let's talk about like attracting development then, or what we're doing, because we all want to try to attract buyers and sellers. Does anybody I put on a topic about attracting developers to your world. Does anybody have any thoughts on that one? I know it sounds like the holy grail, I guess, but.
Gerard, I wanted to say I'm chiming in a little late from the beginning. Nat Shelton from Chicago. So I have new development, and we are actually building affordable homes.
Awesome.
So one of the things that our mayor has implemented, who lost the race this year, she has set it up where a lot of the larger developers that are doing the $1 million, I will say $1 billion high rises in Chicago, they are now required to put affordable homes in the city of Chicago in our Black and brown neighborhoods.
Right.
And so the developer that I work with is Structured Development. So we are building a $250 million development in one of our more illustrious neighborhoods in Lincoln Park on like the north side of Chicago. And in order for us to build that, we had to build affordable homes. Now we're building 40 affordable homes in
We still get you.
inner city of East Garfield. I don't know, it just kind of kicked me out a little bit. Okay, great. So in East Garfield Park, which is one of a depressed area in the city of Chicago that is now being rebuilt. We are building modular homes, which now what helps the seller is that they are building them, of course, for less than market rate on a new brick and mortar building.
Right.
Modular homes, they build them in a factory, they bring them out on, flatbed trucks, and they put them together. So we have 40 of those homes. So for 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, we're selling them for $250. Market rate in that neighborhood is $350. And neighborhoods a little closer to downtown, a 3-bedroom would be over $1 million. So I'm grateful that we are putting in affordable homes in the city of Chicago. And so to go to what your next question was, is how do we attract these developers? Well, once you start to build or are working with a developer, then now other developers come to seek you out. And for the young lady that is in Georgia, she's in Georgia, Atlanta area.
Simone, yes.
Simone, yeah, okay. So we actually met with your illustrious mayor of Atlanta, Andre, can't think of his last name at the moment, and the commissioner of Douglas County, and we will be building in your neighborhood. So can we connect?
Yes, you can.
I would love that.
That's fantastic. That is so exciting. And it's so great to hear it. In DC, we have an inclusionary zoning law which I have always touted as, I thought it was one of the best in the country for this. Essentially, you build something, you got to put 10% of the FAR, to affordable, and it stays that way. It works, I think, extraordinarily well on rental, because then the burden to find a new owner for your property that has to comply with all this is, put on a professional management company. Otherwise, the ones in the condo buildings, which unfortunately in DC, we sold many of these, they're tough to get people to qualify. And then you're realizing you're saddling someone with a unit that is very difficult to sell, even though it's half price. It's still very difficult to sell. So there's challenges, but so you're saying get into for our level, you get in there, and then all of a sudden builders are talking, people who have product, they want to talk to you because they want to have advice, probably what's selling. What are you doing?
Absolutely, yes. So once you have a new development or are working in a new development, then other smaller developers are going to call on you. And so that's pretty much what happened with, she just put his name in, Andre Dickens. I apologize, I forgot.
Awesome.
So that's pretty much what happened with Andre Dickens and the commissioner of Cook County. I cannot think of her name at the moment, but they came here to Chicago in September and to see our product and to see what we're doing and to see how we can push this to a different state. So that's the first thing is like, go and visit. I would say go and visit some of the new developments that's in your neighborhood. And I'm sorry, somebody, how did you get in something with the developer? That's Sarah. The story, how did I get involved with these developers? So Structured Development is a large development company who has built billions of dollars of new development, commercial new development in the city of Chicago. They wanted to build the $250 million development in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. And they wanted to build it in a neighborhood that was up and coming, which is the East Garfield Park. So these are general contractors that live in this neighborhood, and they've never done any new development. So they mentored the African-American general contractors, and who are my clients, sellers that I've worked with for years. And they mentored them to help develop this new development of 40 brand new modular homes. And so that's how I was pulled in. They say, we want our own broker to represent us. If you're going to build, first of all, in our neighborhood, you got to teach us how to do it. And so they're teaching them how, they're mentoring them and teaching them how to do it. And then they brought me in as their broker.
Awesome. Well, that is fantastic and really motivating. So what did we hear? Our first class or first session, I brought up, look, the first thing to do is drive around and go to these places. Why? Who's there? People who want to buy, people who want to build, people who want to develop, and you learning. And then you come in, 3 months later and say, hey, how did I get started? I'd go right there. Things happen when you're in the field. You're taking it to another level there, but she said a lot of interesting things, obviously there, but affordable housing, that's a big buzzword. When I did my touring around, as I'm still doing, because I'm learning Rhode Island, over 55 was something that just struck me as very interesting. Why? It's maybe a calling card for a developer. So we need to offer the developers something that they want, that they need. And it isn't a realtor, generally speaking. They wanted you as a realtor for a few reasons. You were doing this. They wanted a member of the community. You look like you're going right at these reasons. I got started in DC selling new construction by going in an alley. And a Nigerian guy is there, and he figures I want drugs because I'm like in the wrong alley. Literally, he's packing his hands on his pants, and I'm doing the same thing. He comes over, he introduces himself. Because I'm looking through tax records, I hear this Izu Berkway out of his mouth, and I'm like, oh my God, that guy owns a ton of real estate right around here, and he's just in the alley ripping a house down. He introduced me to all of his friends, and that's how I got started. Walking around the alley, I kid you not. Now, was I doing things beforehand, looking through tax records, looking for a client that I didn't even have? I'm just going out looking for product. Yes, I'm guilty of. I look for product for people I don't have clients yet for. I do it all the time. It keeps me busy. So I go out, I want to get a developer. I'm going to find a product that might attract this guy. So to that end, so we don't drag on too long, that was fantastic. And it leads us to find a deal that you think you can add value to and bring it to your sphere through your social media. Look like somebody who's going to these places, who's looking to add value. And how I get that word out is, I'm a little tangent, but I always my social media is geared to one person, one or two people, and then a huge audience. So I'm hoping to connect with some builders that helped me build, who renovated my house, and we're very friendly on social media, and they build, and they're Portuguese guys, and they're great woodworkers. I know they have 1 million friends, and I bet you a bunch of them have houses that are on the market that they fixed up and now are going to have a tougher time selling because they're not these choice locations that we know are going to be selling. So I'm targeting those guys with what I'm doing, and they love it. I show new construction, they all like it. I show things about roofing, new roofs being put on. These guys are builders like that. They love it. I'm getting all my likes from them. So I'm going to go and I'll meet with them, try to bring them something, add some value that way. And once you get in, you are totally right. People start coming to you. You do have to get there, but I think one of the fun things is we should be trying to, all of us, we have a great group now that I can see. So let's make this network somewhere where we say, hey, I get on this network 30 minutes once a month and I pull some critical piece of market data and I take it out and I use it with my sphere of influence. I try to open a door with it. I talk. I mean, how powerful is this? You know, we got people from all over the country, 20 people on there, talking about their experiences. But we'll take it away. We'll leverage it. Hopefully we're going to get somebody comes in here and says, I found something that I'm going to try to bring to developers. And then, next time they're going to say, I brought it to a developer. So that's what I'd love to see us trying to do. That's what I'm going to be trying to do now more. I'm driving around learning Rhode Island still, but now I got to find some product that I can put on my feed and start to attract people to want to call. I'm doing a bit of that. So I brought a little social media marketing in there too. But anyone want to add anything before we split?
How do you share, when you're new, and let's say you go and you find something, how do you share it on social media without having, a more experienced, I don't know, realtor or commercial, because I'm also doing my commercial certification. How do you share it without having somebody taking that from you? Because you're just so happy, you found something. You're like, hey, who's interested in this? And then, but you don't actually, you found it, but you don't own it yet, you don't have an agreement yet.
Well, I mean, I'm presuming probably a lot of this stuff would be on the market. Literally, like here's a house you could buy, fix, sell type of place and go do that. But to answer a question like that, I give all my secrets away. I mean, I'm here to give any trick in the book. I've sold, so many new condos in I have pricing tricks. And what I've learned is the more you do, the harder it is for people to copy you. So bring it on. I mean, if somebody can build a better website than I'm going to describe that I'm building, great. But it's taken me now 3 months. I figured it would even be less, but I still don't have the website I'm talking to you guys about. But anyone want to have more detail on the build out of the site, I have some emails I'm happy to share with you from Eric Jocelyn, who does the work for me. But nonetheless, we can do that offline. But still, how do you do it? Don't worry about it. Put it out there. What you're trying to do is have people know it's what you do, that you work new construction. I'm looking at your background. You look experienced to me. Whatever you want to do, you go out there and tell them you're doing it. And I think they're going to believe you because you are working in the field. And, so never worry about giving your secrets away, really. You don't have to give, every bit of it, but it's hard to keep up when people that hustle. So that's what I'd say to that. Don't worry about it. We share.
I ask that because I'm always told you share too much, you overshare, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just sharing,
Yeah, well, then maybe ask what I like to do on the referral thing, and I am doing some mailings that I'll share with you guys through flow codes and things to get to different parts of our website. But is ask for referral business. I think right now is, it's hard to get someone to sell their house for all these reasons we're all talking about. But I bet you somebody is going to know someone who's in trouble in real estate over the next couple of 6, 8, 10, 12 months. We're already seeing foreclosure notices right here in Newport, Rhode Island, whatever. I just saw 3 of them. So I'm going to go after that. I'm going to say, who do you know that I can help? And I bet you that there's some business out there right now, because I think it's a little tougher on the buyer seller community right now to actually pull triggers. Now you want to buy a new house, I can see you get excited, you want to do that. So that's those things are going to continue to sell. New is new. Once you get a bite of something new, people want that. So that'll be a different sale. But anyway, I don't know, maybe that's a positive way to end. What do we think, folks? Are we going to come back next time and try to do it again?
Absolutely.
Yes, I
Awesome.
think it's a great session. Thank you.
That is so good. And wow, I am going to look up structure. And just one second, Annette, I work with this guy named Dante. I believe they're Dante Partners. Do you know that?
I know Dante. I'm fairly new at Coldwell Banker, but I do know a Dante out of our Gold Coast office. I believe I know who you're talking about.
Well, Dante Partners, he does affordable housing and he builds. Yeah, they build and they work. So we could connect offline. I can connect it. There would be like your structure or something. I mean, they build and they go in, and their niche in DC was, they knew affordable housing was coming, and they just got in with the city and worked and worked and worked and got the RFPs, the proposals from the city for that. It's a kind of a thankless long haul to apply for those things, but they do them. And I bet this is what process going on for the developments you were talking about, is, you get somebody that wants to build some affordable too. They know that it's got to be part of development in the future, is really what I believe we're going to be saying. But
I hope that it is a part of the future, because you cannot buy a house in the city of Chicago for $250,000. Maybe a fixer upper, but nothing in the city of Chicago, unless it's in a really rundown, bad neighborhood that no one wants to live in. So I hope that all over our country that they are trying to do affordable housing, because if not, working class people, I'm going to say middle class, working class people will be priced out of the housing market, and especially with the rates as well. So, yeah.
yeah. And just to throw a few people, June is mentioning Baltimore. June, you finally got a mayor that maybe, or a governor that's interested in Baltimore, I hope. I don't want to talk politics, but there are affordable places in Baltimore. June is right.
I did I put in the link while the development and
okay, I see that
we're working on, and I'll throw the other one in really quickly so that you can kind of take a look at. I mean, I think they're amazing homes. It's just that yes, you have to qualify, and that's how it is. You have to qualify for the homes, and it's a certain price bracket. So these are the two new developments that we're working on as well. So
just to be clear, when we were talking challenges, it's because you have to be, say, at 50% median income and then qualify. So a lot of people that are at those rates at the lower incomes just don't have the credit package and things like that make it more difficult. I mean, that's just an example, but that's a big challenge for getting affordable homes. If it's on the renter side, it's fabulous. You build something that's for rental, you got to have 15% is affordable. Everyone lives together, grows together. I've seen it in DC. It works so well. People together, everyone is learning different things about each other. Yeah. I mean, maybe not high concentrates, but the idea of all affordable in one spot, I think is hopefully something that we can move away from. Anyway, okay, guys and gals, or everyone, thank you so much for your time, and I hope we can keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. And I hope I can keep the chat somehow.
It's usually a chat save button.
Is there? Thank you, my friend. Where am I looking at that? I got it. Oh, look at you. Oh, chat save. Thank you. I am new at the Zoom. Is that David?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it on the iPad. This is
I think I did. I did chat save. I don't know where it's going to be, but I'm going to go with it.
Good luck. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for participating, David. Awesome. Brian, take care. End meeting.